Hey, welcome back. This is your host, John Davey. You're listening to Have a Good Time. And we're back to doing the dailies here. Today's Monday, March 27th, 2017. I wanted to start out by requesting that if you're listening to this, please hit the follow and subscribe buttons on SoundCloud and YouTube, respectively. I want to get my subscriptions up if I can, and thanks for listening. I really enjoyed this conversation on Saturday I had with Evan Zimmerman, and we'll probably be doing some more of those. And I'll probably be adding some other friends and callers to the show as we go. Maybe some of them through Skype, etc. But it's been a really good. It was a really good weekend. Pretty relaxed. Me and my fiance. We sometimes host this brunch on Sundays, and we've started to do it alternating weekends instead of every weekend. So that afforded us yesterday and the day before a pretty relaxed weekend where neither of us were working. So that was great, and took the dog for a walk down the beach, and made some snacks and dips and watched some Netflix and stuff. So it was a good day, and I've been trying to do some more stuff with this podcast, and I've been sort of trying to develop some ideas about branding and stuff like that, getting all of my various endeavors under one roof, and it's not going to happen right away, but eventually there will be a website linking to, my music website, this podcast, etc. It'll be kind of like the home. So I wanted to get some feedback from you guys about, just tell me, maybe in the comments section or something, what your favorite podcast has been so far, and what you'd like to hear more about or of. And I'm working on getting the Skype thing set up, so maybe we can do a whole other segment where, if you feel like calling in, maybe we can make it a live stream or something. If you feel like calling in to the show, we can do we can chat it up about something. Maybe I'll throw some topics out there, and we can have a live interview segment. Oh yeah, and I should say, since we're just sort of covering all these bases right now, follow us on Twitter at Good Time Pod. Twitter at Good Time Pod is our handle. So I was watching Jim Norton last night, and he's a pretty good comic. He definitely looks like a guy who was heavy at one point who lost a bunch of weight, and that's really cool. It's funny how that sort of expresses itself in his comedy. He's kind of like a jittery, frenetic guy, and but I think that sort of maybe makes him a good comic to some degree. Also, I'll tell you about the other podcasts I watched, stand-up specials I watched with Mike Birbiglia, and then also his new one, Thank God for Jokes, and then the new Dave Chappelle special, all of which were pretty good, except the Jim Norton one last night. My internet kept going out, so I had to nix that one because I was getting really tired and I didn't feel like dealing with resetting the internet button and everything. So I just ended up turning it off and going to bed. So not too eventful. But I got some Spanish cheeses yesterday. Didn't really know much about Spanish cheese, except for these particular ones were both made of sheep milk, which I don't know the process for making those, but they were both hard farmhouse cheeses. And if anybody knows anything about cheese, maybe you can call into the show. We can talk about cheese some, because I've been on this cheese kick recently. where I've just been trying out a whole bunch of different kinds of cheese. I'm like a lot of people, I'm like a cheddar kind of person. I used to think that like the sharper the cheddar, the better the cheddar. But now I'm kind of exploring some other parts of the cheddar spectrum, and I've been finding some really interesting ones, some really really sort of soft, creamy, like you can almost not tell that it's cheddar kind of cheeses. And then also my fiance's been getting into these sort of like soft, creamy, spreadable cheeses like brie and just some other ones. I don't know what that's like the only one that springs to mind right now. But yeah, the cheesecake's been good, and I've been discovering a whole broad array of other flavors out there that I think are worthwhile, and I've been happy to be trying. So let's see. Drank some wine, ate some crackers with that. Today I got up and I used the rest of the greens in my fridge to make this super super duper green smoothie. It was like almost like I face planted into the lawn or something. It's like very grassy. Actually, I mean it was mostly kale and spinach, but that was quite a smoothie. I added peanut butter to it, and my dog's like crazy about peanut butter. He's like, we don't really feed him people food that often, just to sort of like keep consistent with his diet. And he's very much a kind of dog that craves routine. If you mess up his routine at all, he gets a little loopy, and especially since we're in sort of a small apartment, he's kind of a big and energetic dog. Like, as long as his routine's okay, he's like pretty good in the apartment, but he can become sort of a menace over time if he's not getting the appropriate amount of exercise and his routine's a little bit messed up. So, oops, dropped my pen. But but the one thing I do feed him from time to time, like if I'm making a smoothie and I'm adding peanut butter to it to give it some creamier texture, the dog will come into the kitchen, and he's like very very focused. Sometimes he'll start drooling just as he's standing there, and I don't always give it to him, but sometimes I do. If he's been being a good boy, I guess. So that's the criteria. If I'm making a smoothie, and if you've been a good boy, you can get some peanut butter, and then of course he licks his chops for half an hour after he's done eating the peanut butter. So anyway, that's what's been up. I think it's been about 10 minutes. Maybe this will make it on. Maybe it won't. What the heck? I might as well just put it up. It's bad as a what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just like not in a super talkative mood right now, but it's a non sequitur there in the middle where I jump from like, hey, promoting all these new ideas that I'm sort of working on and working out with the podcast and everything, to all of a sudden like talking about cheese and taking the dog on a walk. I just like whatever, but that's the idea. These dailies are not meant for oh yeah, and then the whole thing about I was gonna try to go on this like rant, like this like thing about religious imagery and pop culture, and that's where I think I dropped the ball. I just wasn't really prepared to talk about it because I've been listening to these lectures by Jordan Peterson. He's a guy I talk a lot about on these blogs, and he's got a lot of interesting, amazing stuff to say about sort of like imagery and its relation to like human psychology, particularly in religion, and like historical movements that have sort of overtaken religion and the sort of effects thereof for better and for ill. So anyway, I'll revisit that topic at a different time. I think Evan Zimmerman, the guy who is I talked with on Saturday, who you guys have probably listened to, he might have a lot of interesting things to say about this because he thinks sort of in systems, I think, and that's one kind of example of that. So well, we'll pick that topic back up at another time and maybe explore it a little in greater detail. And hopefully, I won't drop the ball there. But what I will do is I am going to post this podcast today just for the sake of keeping content out and going, and that's important for me to do in this attempt at this new system where I talk for 10 minutes every day. So I know it's been a little over. That's okay. I hope you guys will subscribe and like and link if you want to. Tell your friends about it, and if you feel like getting them to subscribe or hit the like button on or the follow button on SoundCloud or YouTube and Twitter, that would be awesome. So we're called Good Time Pod on Twitter, and just find us at your other locations. And thanks very much for listening. This is Have a Good Time, and I'm your host, John Davey. See ya on the next daily.